All right, so after being gone all week long, your boy is officially back. And I want to start off by apologizing because they are currently cutting the grass outside and I don't know if the mic is actually picking it up, but if it is, my bad. But either way, with our grand return, we also have some exclusive leaks for you guys, never seen before, at least not to the public eye. We're going to talk about what's going on this weekend, and of course, a couple of things that you might want to be on the lookout for because it's looking like this might be coming true. Now, the way we're going to do this is basically by starting off with the concrete stuff and something that was provided to us being pretty much all of the content creators. As you can see right here, we've switched on over to the content creator Discord server, specifically inside of the Sneaks channel, which as you guys can see, we usually post inside of here, not only renders for the content creators to use sort of for like, thumbnail purposes and stuff like that, but we also post some exclusive sneak peeks for them to go ahead and make videos for you guys or obviously show during their streams. If you notice down here, last night at 11:48 p.m., Nick went ahead and posted this image right here. Now, because that image is a little bit on the darker side, I've gone ahead and done pretty much what we've been doing recently with all the leaks. I grabbed it, brought it over to Photoshop. We're going to go ahead and move to adjustments, brightness. We'll go ahead and create a clipping mask right there and increase the brightness on this image so we can really see what's going on here. Now, for starters, we can pretty much right off the bat tell that this is maybe sunstone. I don't really know actually, because the rock fixture over here doesn't look at all the same as how it does in game right now. To my knowledge, the only rock fixture that's next to Merlin's hut is this one right here. Just for full on context, there it is right there, the one that I'm talking about, and there's really nothing right over here besides some palm trees. Also, back here, there is no palm tree, when if we look at this image, there's clearly a small little palm tree right here. So maybe Merlin's hut was, dude, I don't even know if to call this Merlin's hut. It looks kind of like a bunch of pieces just put together in the most odd way ever. I'll be honest, for some reason it's giving me like kind of Forsaken vibes. Maybe that's just me, but let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Besides that, there's not really much else. There seems to be some type of like lightning effect going on, and of course we have Merlin standing right over here on the side. Pretty much holding on right next to him is the rod that is currently on the table when you go in game to Merlin's hut. In case you're unaware what I'm talking about, right over here is the rod. Obviously in that image it looks a little bit different because it's not really glowing, but that is definitely without a doubt the same rod. Now again, man, not really too much information to go over here. If you guys spot anything in the picture, let me know in the comment section. The only other thing that I sort of see out of the ordinary here is maybe like this traffic cone down here. I don't know if you guys can see it. We'll zoom in. But there's kind of like a traffic cone here. At least that's what it looks like to me. And that in itself just doesn't make any sense in the entire Fish universe, I guess. But yeah, overall, this is interesting. Obviously, we do know that this is going to be part 2 to everything that happened, last week, which of course we know that was sort of mixed opinions on that. Not a lot of people really even paid too much attention to it, to be honest. Most people were invested in obviously the balancing changes that went sort of into effect, and we all know how that went. Additionally, one of the rewards that you actually receive from Merlin is a skin called the Gilded Skin, which when I went ahead and asked Nick, this is connected to the part 2, so you guys will be able to go ahead and, I'm assuming, unlock some type of rod that will finally allow you to use that skin that you unlocked. Now, along with that, coming over here to Rodslit, we're finally getting ourselves this alien quest, which, if you guys remember, a couple of weeks back, I think like a week and a half ago, I made a video talking about this very briefly, because Nick actually reached out to us in DMs and told us a little bit of information regarding the reward for this entire sort of like secret quest. And apparently it is going to be very similar to the brick rod as far as like how complex the quest is going to be. And the reward is apparently a rod that has a very cool passive. That's literally quote unquote what was said. I guess we'll have to see. Now, with that being said, there is 2 other screenshots that technically I am the only person that has these, which I'm going to go over because there's a couple of things that are sort of not exactly directly confirmed. And the reason that I say that is because Nick has a habit of sort of doing this every single time that I ask for leaks, where he'll sort of give me a picture that has leaks in it, but he won't sort of like confirm the things that I mention in them, nor will he sort of give me like a hint on what exactly I should be looking at. But of course, I always show these in the videos. You guys point out a bunch of different things, and about 99.98% of the times, they're pretty accurate. Now, for starters, I want to go ahead and show you guys the actual DM here, just because I know that there's people out there that are sort of questionable about things. But if you notice right here, yesterday, 8:36 p.m., he sent me both of these screenshots, which I will obviously make a lot bigger now. I just sort of wanted to show you this portion right here. And believe it or not, these images actually have a lot of information, specifically two different things that I want to point out. Before we go over any of that, I do want to point out this is sort of their development environment, so just please ignore everything that's going on in the background. That's sort of how they like test different, fishing pools and stuff like that. So completely ignore that. The important things being shown here is number one, obviously the brand new fishing rod. I'm not gonna lie, at first I was sort of confused when I saw this. I was like, dude, this kind of looks like the free spirit rod from the second sea, but I guess it's because it's been so long since I see that rod. Once I went back to it, I was like, it's literally a skeleton hand, so why would it look the same? Either way, the point is that this is definitely one of the new rods. In the second picture, I'll show you guys the second new rod, which as you can see, this is it right here. Very, very cool looking. Obviously going to be in some way connected to this whole entire Merlin thing that's going on. Although I will say this much, the first rod over here looks very similar to something that would be related to the Merlin quest, for example, mainly because it does look like the glow orb. But it's very possible that the second rod that we're seeing over here could be in connection to the entire alien quest. The reason I say that is because primarily, if you think about it, those are sort of like the two rods right now that we've been kind of more or less promised. We know that there's going to be a rod for the Merlin quest, and we know there's going to be a rod for the alien. And the shape of this does look kind of funky, unlike this one over here that's just sort of a stick. I don't know, man. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this. It's sort of interesting because I feel like as of recently, especially with the whole entire Q&A that went on and everything like that, they did mention that they wanted to steer away from making things that didn't really look like fishing rods, when both of these sort of look like staffs that do magic. But who knows? Maybe this is something that they sort of set aside. I also can't really see the rest of the rod, so it's very likely that maybe there is a reel at the bottom. But honestly, this is not even the most important part to this entire picture, which I'm sure you guys have already noticed. The last time that we did sort of a leak like this, it was this image right here, which was on October 24th, that says two little things, I guess, but I wish I had a certain rod model right now, but it's a work in progress, blah, 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 blah. That was obviously for the old update where they made all of the angler quest changes and they added the skulls inside of the black market. But if we remember back to that image, there was something that I pointed out very important in this image. At the time that I had made that video, the level cap was 1,500. And I noticed in this image that Nicholas's level, aka Nick, was level 1,501. Now, of course, sure enough, when the update did go ahead and drop, they increased the level cap to level 2,000, which is what it is today. Now, if we transition over to these newer images, you can see that his level is 1325838391. This is extremely important because if you were my live stream last week, then you know that the conversation behind the scenes about adding uncapped levels into the game is something that has been heavily talked about recently. As a matter of fact, I had recorded an entire video literally like a week and a half ago, and I never actually released that video where I went full in depth on the whole conversation about removing level cap. In case you were not in that live stream and you don't know what we're talking about, I'll give you guys the quickest breakdown because we really still don't have a lot of information on this. But basically, the way that it was sort of mentioned around was that level cap would obviously be removed, meaning that you would be able to get to level 10,000 if you really wanted to. In return, you would receive every so often things like titles and pretty much cosmetic rewards. And the primary reason why they're doing this is because they want to transition away from giving really OP rods and sort of OP materials as far as like, boots and gloves and stuff like that in return for reaching level milestone. They want to just make it where you purely only get cosmetic stuff from leveling up. I'll be honest, man, we talked about this very briefly during my live stream and it seemed like no one really wanted it, which was kind of interesting. I thought it would sort of be split down the middle, but it really seemed like the vast majority of people did not want the uncapped levels. I think what I'll do tomorrow for our live stream is do another poll right before the update drops just to get a general idea on how everybody feels about that. But anyways, back on topic to the rewards they were planning for this uncapped level system. Basically, the way that I was told about it is that maybe potentially, let's say you hit level 5,000, right? You would get yourself a cosmetic crate that then would give you a cosmetic skin for your rod that would only be obtainable from these crates. So every so couple of levels, you would receive a crate and have a chance at getting those skins. Now, that was obviously just an idea. Nick wasn't really too happy with it. He said that he was going to still work on coming up with a valid sort of reward, which is kind of the reason why I'm saying I don't really have the full information on this. And it's primarily the reason why I never released that video, because I knew that you guys were going to have a lot more questions than answers that I had at the time. With that being said, this image sort of does maybe show that they've came now to a conclusion on what they want to do with that uncapped level system, and we may be seeing it this weekend. Obviously, I went ahead and left this towards the end of the video because it is something that's kind of just on the fence right now. But yeah, I'm curious, man. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. Obviously, we don't really have too much details about the whole entire Merlin thing, but I am curious to hear everyone's opinion on this entire uncapped level system, as well as a few individuals out there that just don't really care about levels and maybe want to theorize some passives for the new rods. With that being said, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Remember, we're your number one-stop shop for leaks and everything coming up. My apologies for not uploading that much. We have obviously Thanksgiving coming up, and I'm actually in the preparation phase of getting ready for a vacation. So after this weekend, my next videos will probably be a little bit weird, mainly because I will not be home and I will be recording from a laptop somewhere in the middle of Miami. Either way, man, if you enjoyed it, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next one, and of course, in tomorrow's live stream. Take care.